everybody, welcome back to another episode of Why Did I Cook Salmon 4 hours ago? My apartment still smells like fish. Please send help. In this video, I am going to talk about, for real, speaking of food, I'm going to talk about why I stopped taking Phentermine. So if you are new to the channel, welcome. I am Nicole. This is Love to Listen To. This is a channel where I share details about my personal health journey and some vlogs just to share stuff about my life and stuff I'm up to in good old Houston, Texas. Yes. Alrighty, so like I mentioned in this video, I'm going to talk about the prescription medication Phentermine. So if you're new to the channel, you may or may not know already that I am currently on a journey to lose weight. I would love to lose about 50 pounds. And last year in April of 2023, I had hysterectomy surgery. So I have lots of information about that. If you're interested, I will link a playlist down below. So this friend that I told about my weight loss desires recommended that I go to a weight loss clinic, which I had never even thought about doing before, but just like one of those like small weight loss clinics. If you want me to make a video about my experience there, just comment below and let me know and I'll be sure to do that. But basically, to make a long story short, I went to the weight loss clinic. And there's several, like if you live in a big city, there's probably a million of them there. And the doctor prescribed me Phentermine, which is what I requested. So in this video, I'm going to tell you briefly about my experience with taking it and give you some pros and cons. So first, like I mentioned before, what is Phentermine? Just to tell you what it is. So it is a prescription weight loss drug that acts as an appetite suppressant, and it also acts as a stimulant. So basically, it is supposed to make you not hungry, but also give you like some energy, like to make your body kind of like burn more energy, give you energy to like go do stuff. So for me, Phentermine worked really well. It really suppressed my appetite to the point where on some days I could have really gone without eating at all, but I usually would eat something, and I'll tell you why in a second, even though I really could have just gone without eating. It also gave me like a super amount of energy that I wasn't used to, and I felt like my brain was just so focused. There's a movie that includes Bradley Cooper, and he takes like some medicine, I think it's called Limitless, and the movie shows like his brain is like activating and he is just like, ooh, I can do everything. Like he can think of all these things. He's very creative. He's so productive. And I really felt like I was experiencing that in real life. After taking Phentermine, after I stopped taking it, I actually wondered if I might have like a level of ADHD, because when I was taking the medicine, I could just focus on stuff so easily, even things that I didn't want to do. I just could like boom, 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 like knock things off my to-do list so easily. Whereas the unmedicated version of me, I will procrastinate, and sometimes it's really hard for me to focus to get things done, especially if I don't want to do them. Things that I do want to do, boom, boom, boom. But if I don't really want to do it or I'm not interested, it takes forever. But on Phentermine, I could just like do anything. It didn't matter what the task was. I could just like get it done. It was really crazy, but also like kind of awesome. However, you clicked on this video because you know that I'm going to tell you that I stopped taking it. So why? What is the however? So however, after a few days of taking it, I started to experience too many unpleasant side effects. And I'm going to tell you about these right now. All right, the first one was constipation. So like I said before, even though I wasn't hungry, like I literally could have gone days without eating. This stuff really worked for me. However, I did notice that I needed to eat something to kind of keep my digestion moving along, if you know what I'm saying, because this medication caused me to experience a level of constipation that was unheard of in my life. I was so constipated. I know that this is like TMI, too much information, but I am trying to warn you, if you decide to take Phentermine, you need to drink like a gallon of water. You need to eat your kale, eat your blueberries, take your Metamucil, go over to your grandmama's house and get her Metamucil, steal it from her, go to CVS, buy some. Do you know what I'm saying? You need to be loaded up with all of the liquids and the fiber that you can get in your body, because this stuff, if you were like me, it was like trying to break through Hoover Dam. It was so terrible how constipated this medication made me. It got to the point where I actually had to like make myself a little checklist to remind myself at the end of the day to note down if I went to boo-boo or not. And if I didn't, then I had to remember that night to take a laxative. It was a lot of hassle. I did not enjoy this part of taking Phentermine. But I did eventually figure out that if I did eat something, it would kind of like at least a little bit help things keep going. I guess like, you know, having something in there to like push things out. I don't know if that's science or not, but that is what happened to me. So if you decide to take Phentermine and it reduces your appetite to the point where you really don't even think about food, but you having constipation, drink tons of water, like a gallon a day. I'm not a doctor, I'm just making a suggestion. You do you. I don't take responsibility for what you do to your body. But drink a ton of water, get your fiber, and also if you see yourself, if you're experiencing constipation, make sure to keep up with, like, write it down, because you don't want to go like 3 days being backed up, and then when you do go poop, it's going to be too unpleasant. You know what I'm saying? All right, moving on from boo-boo. So the next unpleasant side effect that I had, this one was minor, but it's related to the first one kind of, was dry mouth. So speaking of like really having to increase your water intake, for me, I also had to do that to at least try to alleviate this feeling of dry mouth. Now, if you've never taken Phentermine or a drug that is similar acting, I guess, this might sound weird, but I had like the experience of dry mouth, but not thirst. So I was drinking just to kind of cure this dry mouth kind of feel, you know what I'm saying? But I wasn't really thirsty because I was so well hydrated from trying to alleviate being constipated. But the feeling of like just like tacky mouth, it drove me a little bit crazy. Moving on to a more serious side effect that I experienced while taking Phentermine is an increased heart rate. So after maybe like the third or fourth day of taking Phentermine, I did notice that I was having heart palpitations. It's called tachycardia. I hope that I'm saying that close to correctly, but it's basically when your heart is racing when you're not exerting like energy. Like you could just be sitting at your desk and your heart is racing. So I started to notice that I had like really high increased heart rate, like up to 150 beats per minute when I'm just sitting at a desk, right? And it was just really way too high. Also, I noticed that at night, so I'm laying down, trying to rest, and my heart would just be like boo, 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 to the point where, you know, if like your heart is beating so fast or so hard that you can hear it in your ears, if that makes sense. I started to experience that as well. So the increased heart rate really scared me, but it was also connected to another unpleasant side effect, and that was insomnia. So I just continued to be really energetic. Just to the point where I could not go to sleep even at night. And then at night when it was really noticeable that I was having these really high, heart rate things going on. That made me scared and then also made me worry. So then I was afraid to go to sleep. So I ended up with insomnia because I had leftover energy from the day and I had fear about how fast my heart was beating. I do have to say though, I am very sensitive to stimulants. I do not drink coffee and I only drink 1 cup of caffeinated tea per day. That's per the whole day. So if you have a higher tolerance like to caffeine or stimulants than I do, then you may or may not experience like such a high level of like insomnia and fast heart rate and all that kind of stuff. But I do want to tell you that just in as much transparency as I can. That's like my personal body is very sensitive to stimulants. Okay, and then kind of piggybacking off of talking about like stimulants and how your body might respond to it. Dizziness and headaches. So this is the last one I'll talk about as far as like the negative side effects. So occasionally I felt a little bit lightheaded, but it could also have been related to changing the frequency of how I was eating so quickly. So I basically went from eating 2 meals a day. I only eat 2 meals a day. Like for years and years and years, I've only ate twice a day. So changing that from basically like eating a little bit at 7 or 8 o'clock at night, it was a big change. And even though I didn't feel hungry, I'm sure that change was a little bit of a shock maybe to my system and my blood sugars. So sometimes I did feel a little bit of dizziness. And also like the first couple of days of taking it, I had like just a mild headache. So maybe 3 or 4 hours after if I had taken the medicine, I would have like a mild headache. It was never anything very serious though. So I put that one last because I really feel like if I would have continued to take the medicine that my body would have adjusted, but I'm just letting you know that is what happened to me. All right, so with that out of the way, I want to share with you 3 positive things that I think for a person whose body is more conducive to taking Phentermine, because apparently this drug works for like a lot of people and it works really well. And I did have some positive experiences. I just decided to stop taking it because of the things that I just mentioned. But I don't want to discourage anybody from finding out about it, for themselves. So let me share the positives as well. First, it does what it says it's going to do. It is not like a placebo. I definitely 1000% had a significantly decreased appetite, and I did have so much more energy. I mean, every errand I needed to run for like a month, done in like 3 days. Every chore, like all the things. I was just doing things. And I had energy. And also because I wasn't hungry, I didn't have to stop throughout the day, like stop at lunch and eat and then do something and then, stop for dinner, eat, and then continue to do stuff, right? I was just blasting through my to-do list. And yeah, it really, really did work to significantly reduced my appetite, and it gave me a ton of energy, which I did appreciate. And actually, because I did not finish my first bottle, so my prescription was for a whole month, I did not finish the whole bottle. So now I do take a pill or half of a pill when I know that I need to have energy for for a whole day, when I need to get stuff done. So for example, when I went to Boston over the summer and I had like all of these tours and stuff lined up, and I didn't know exactly when I was going to be able to eat, and I knew that I needed a lot of energy to walk miles and miles and miles. I walked like, literally, I'm not kidding. For a fat person, this is a lot. I walked like 9 miles one of the days that I was in Boston. And again, for a fat person, shoot, I walked like Kilimanjaro. Like, that was crazy. But I was able to do that because I had taken a Phentermine pill in the morning and I had just energy the whole day. I was totally fine. It was amazing. I also took one like the day that I moved. So I needed to have energy to, do stuff, move stuff around all day, be engaged with the movers all day. I didn't know when the move would be over, blah, blah, blah. So, and I didn't know when I was going to be able to eat. So taking the Phentermine really gave me the energy and the focus that I needed to really get through the day. And it was chill because I was able to do all this stuff. I wasn't hungry. I wasn't mad. I was just like boom, boom, boom. It's really, really great for that. I have to just harp on that because if you struggle with feeling hungry and tired at the same time, like I often do, then this stuff is a miracle drug if your system can tolerate it. The second positive thing about Phentermine that I experienced was that it did not upset my stomach. So I was saying that it made me constipated, but I never felt nauseous. I never threw up or had any kind of like tummy ache issues with it. And like I mentioned before, I don't eat breakfast. I only eat lunch and dinner. So I was taking it at about 11 o'clock, between maybe like 9 and 11 o'clock in the morning on basically an empty stomach. I have my tea in the morning, but that's it. And I never had any kind of like tummy pains or vomiting or nausea. I didn't have any of those things. The third positive about Phentermine is that it was very cheap. I don't remember how much it cost without insurance. I do have insurance, but I remember the doctor saying like even without insurance, it wasn't like a ton of money, but I did get it run through my insurance and it was about $12 or something like that. It was like under $20 for a whole month supply of Phentermine. So it's like so cheap. It's also really well researched and documented. It's been around since I think like the 80s. Don't quote me on that, but it's been around for a long time. It has tons of people have taken it. So I also felt better that it's been around for so long. It's not like a new thing. And it has like case studies and all of this stuff to go with it. The last thing that I'll say, also that just came to mind, it's not in my notes, but it just came to mind. With Phentermine too, it's not addictive. My doctor told me that it's a controlled substance though. So I think you can take it for like 3 months and then they have to make you not take it for a certain amount of time and then you can take it again. But it's not addictive. I did not experience any like addictive kind of feelings about it. Like when I stopped taking it, it was just like I just stopped taking it. It wasn't a big deal. And from what I've read online, but do your own research, but from what I've read online, for people, it is not addicting, whichever is the right way to say that. But that is also what I would consider a positive. Alrighty, so I hope that you found this information and me sharing my experience about Phentermine helpful. Before I wrap up the video, I do want to just invite you to subscribe to the channel. I am what I like to call a geriatric millennial. So I am old enough to know stuff, but not so old that I want to gatekeep it and keep that information from you. If I know it, I am happy to share, and that's part of my purpose with this channel. Also, if you want to support the channel, you can head over to my website and blog. It's linked down below. I also put it on the screen right here, lovedandlistenedto.com. I have a newsletter that goes out that gives you tips and kind of, just some good juicy things that is maybe not long enough for a video. But you can subscribe to the newsletter, and you can also get yourself a gift. I designed everything that you see on the shop on my website. So if you like to support the channel and also get yourself something like a win-win, go over to my website and take a look. All right, so be sure to leave a comment down below, like the video. Let me know if you have taken Phentermine. What was your experience? I want to hear from you. I know that it's a pretty popular weight loss drug, so I'm sure lots of people have taken it. Let me know what your experience was and whatever else you want to tell me. All right, I hope this was helpful. Until next time, bye and namaste.